Hello, everyone. Welcome to the President Vice President Forum for the 2015 elections. We will have each candidate come up, President versus President, Vice President versus Vice President, come up, and you will start out by saying your 90-second, a little bit about you, your platform, and then we will ask you questions. And at the end of our questions between the Vice President and the Presidents, we will open questions up to the floor, and you may ask questions. So can we have the presidents come up? Brian, you can start it off.
Awesome. Wow, that was a lot louder than I thought. Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Garrettson. First and foremost, thank you for being here today. I am a junior here at Boise State. I'm a communication major, also with an entrepreneurship management major, and forgive me if you can see my pit stains right now. It's a little toasty in here, a little bit more stuffier than I thought. Anyway, I am running for president of the Associated Students of Boise State University. I've had nothing short of a great experience here at Boise State. Through my involvement with Greek life, dance marathon, working for admissions, I've kind of got to see a lot of angles on campus of really, really great things and really awesome opportunities. If elected, I'm trying to elevate that experience here. I want students to truly understand that, yes, we walk away with a degree and we have awesome experience inside our classroom. What truly matters, though, is what happens outside of the classroom, the relationships you make with the administration, the faculty, and, of course, your fellow Broncos. Again, thank you for being here today, and I look forward to answering the rest of the questions. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name's Angel, and I'm also running for Student Body President. I am running because I believe that my 5 years of student government experience, my passion for Boise State, and my focus on the issues that matter to Boise State students are what matters in this campaign. And so that's why I'm running. I believe that because of that reason, I would make a good president. I am all about the relationship building aspect of it. I think Brian is correct in that that's one of the most important things about coming to Boise State and going to pursue an education. But I also think it's about what the candidates want to do for you. And I believe that my experience in student government, having been the student body vice president at the College of Southern Idaho, having been a senator before then, and serving right now as your Secretary of External Affairs, lobbying the Idaho legislature on behalf of the issues that matter, I think that's why I'm running, and I think I am prepared to lead from the very beginning. And I am very excited to engage in an exchange of ideas with Brian and to hear more questions from the rest of the audience. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you to the Arbiter and ASBSU for putting this awesome forum together. Thank you.
We will now ask you questions, and you will have 90 seconds to answer.
Same order.
Angel, if elected, what would you like to accomplish as your term as ASBSU's president?
That's a really important question. I think that based on my platform, what I am advocating for is, number one, we have to do a better job at fighting state cuts to higher education. Number two, we have to advocate for greater campus safety on our campus. It's time for college students to not feel afraid of walking outside of their dorms when they are trying to get somewhere on campus when it's dark. It's time to end sexual assault on our campus. I am also advocating for alternatives to expensive textbooks that we hardly even use at times. There are times in which you are asked to purchase a textbook and you don't end up even using it, right? So I believe that we need to set up some kind of website that's run by the students in order for students to buy and sell books from one another. Those are just some of the things I want to get started. I also want to see a greater amount of promoting diversity and inclusion, and not just talking about it, right? It's actually being there for one another when it's the good times and the difficult times. And overall, I want to promote a greater Bronco experience for all the students at Boise State University.
Thank you, Angel. Brian, same question. If elected, what would you like to accomplish while you're ASBSU's president?
If elected, my overall goal is communication and exposure. Me and Nick had a lot of conversations with people in the past few weeks during our campaign, and we realized that most students don't actually know what ASBSU is and what its core purposes are. That's really important to me. They see it as perhaps Brian Vlock running around and making things happen. They see it as a closed office door. I don't think they know that legal services are provided, that nearly $300,000 of grants are allocated for the students. So elevating that transparency is huge and important to me. I mean, if this department exists and if we're paying student fee money for it, we as students should be fully aware exactly what we can do. Another aspect is interdepartment communication. We've had a conversation in the past about reinventing the wheel, and what I mean is great departments on this campus are doing great things, but we don't really hear about it. So we're like, oh, we can do this, but we don't, then we quickly realize that an already department is doing this already. So having that interdepartment communication will kind of change the way we view progress. So instead of being 1.0, we can be 2.0 this fall. And then the last is just having that experience and truly allowing students to be heard. Like I said, we're not going to remember this English 101 class that we suffered through our freshman year, but we're going to remember the relationships. We're going to remember that we raised $66,000, for Dance Marathon. We're going to remember the Jamaica trip. We're going to remember the relationships we made like that. So elevating those experiences and giving those to my fellow Broncos, that is what is important to me, and that's what I plan on doing.
Thank you, Brian. The next question will be for Angel. How do you plan to break down barriers interdepartmentally? Can you give an example of a time this was achieved, and how would you utilize this in the future?
Well, I think we break down barriers by working together. Like all the groups that normally sometimes, there's rivalries between different organizations in Greek life. There's rivalries between different clubs and organizations. And I think that that's how you break things down. That's how you break barriers, is by working together and having an open dialogue and open communication and talking about our differences without being afraid of talking about those differences and knowing that it is okay to disagree. That's perfectly fine. But just finding ways in which we can work together. And I can think of an example in which this did occur. I know that there was some controversy with regards to the Veterans Club and the Muslim community here on campus, because 2 weeks of celebration happened to coincide, and I know there was a lot of conflict with that. So what I did is I sat down with members of both groups and discussed it with them and heard both sides of the story and just let them know that ASBSU was supportive of both groups, and that in order to be able to be a united campus, we had to learn how to coexist with each other and to not fear one another. And so that's one example in which I was able to facilitate that conversation.
Thank you, Angel. Brian, you will have the same question. How do you plan to break down barriers interdepartmentally? Can you give an example of a time this was achieved, or how would you utilize this in the future?
Absolutely. So yes, Angel's correct. Communication